Hey guys, welcome back to Wiki-Wheelz Talk. I'm very excited to introduce my guest today, Jessica, aka Jess.
Mike.
She prefers to be called Jess, so we're gonna do that. Thank you, Jess, for being on Wiki-Wheelz Talk today.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
So, would you like to tell the audience a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm Jess. I am a social worker, or I graduated from Rutgers with the social work degree. I'm currently a residential coordinator for a company called Care Plus. We're a company based in Bergen County. So I work in a group home with patients that have mental illness. So what I'm responsible for is their treatment plans or plan of care, and I take them to their appointments and anything that they need, such as like insurance stuff or Medicare, Medicaid, or any benefits that they receive from the state. I also have a book blog on Instagram, and it's called Bookworm underscore post grad school. Some of you, I don't know how many of you guys follow me already, but that name changed a couple times through like the last year or so. So when I was in grad school, it was bookworm underscore in grad school or grad student, whatever it was. And now how I've graduated, it's post grad school. So I'm currently reading a couple books. So the book that I'm reading right now is Stephen King. It
Yeah, I'm never gonna read that.
it's taken me a very long time. Some of the books that are on my list is Firefly Lane. It's a Netflix movie or a show.
I I heard about that one.
Yeah. And I wanted to read the book before I watch the show or movie, whatever it is. So, and then some other books I'll show. I'm reading The Orphan Thief. So it's from like the Holocaust kind of time. So where the town that they live in, it was bombed a couple times by the Holocaust. So they're trying to like recover. So the people that did survive, they're like the thieves, and the main character is an orphan because her all her family passed away. So she's like going around trying to recover, some sense of life. And then I'm gonna be rereading They Poured Fire from the Sky. I read this in college, so I'm just trying to refresh my memory. Yeah, that's my
So
book.
if you guys want to follow her Instagram blog, make sure you check the links below. All of her social media will be down below, and we're trying to convince her to start a YouTube page,
Yeah,
but she's having trouble figuring out what she wants. I believe you should do it on books. I
that's a
mean,
very good idea.
there are people out there that have YouTube pages that are strictly like reactions to music or movies or stuff like that. So you should do one with your review of a book.
Yeah, I'm maybe doing like interactive, like I'm like on some videos on my reactions on book and stuff about like life and stuff like that. So I'm still thinking about it.
And
Hopefully soon.
hey, maybe you'd be able to talk to a couple of the authors.
Maybe.
That
Yeah,
would
that would be cool. We'll see. Maybe in a couple weeks or months. Stay tuned.
yes. Then don't worry, I'll keep her. I will keep her in line because I'm gonna make sure she really works on that project. And
Guests on there too, because I know some of my friends, especially Caitlin, are into books as well.
oh yes, I love books. I've already read 8 this year,
Yeah,
more than I normally do. But I've gotten some of the free ebooks,
yeah,
so I've been able to read more because
hmm
they're free.
yeah.
Thank you, authors.
Audible is pretty cool with that stuff too. They'll give you like if you're part of like their membership club or whatever it's called, they'll also give you some pretty cool free books part of your membership. Something that I would also like to talk about is Goodreads. Goodreads helps you keep track of what you're reading. It'll give you like a year challenge, like a reading challenge for that year.
Yes,
So for like 2021, I was able to give myself a challenge of reading, let's say 52 books, whatever I chose. And it'll tell you like if you're ahead of your goal, on time, or behind. So it's it's able to help you keep track on how many books you want to read and stuff like that. And it allows you to like have your friends on there too, so you know what your friends are reading. Um, Especially if you know your friends are have similar reading categories as you. So
yes.
it gives you suggestions on what to read and what not to read and stuff like that. And it also gives you the ability to give book reviews on there too and
And
rating.
you can interact with authors
Yeah,
too. Like you
yeah.
can ask them questions and
Hmm.
hopefully they'll answer your question.
Yeah. They
So
also give books like they give raffles away of like let's say there's a book on your reading list. Sometimes that book is on like this raffle to give away to a reader that is subscribed to Goodreads, and you just have
I've
to.
tried.
Yeah, me too. I haven't been
I
successful.
haven't won yet.
Yeah, me neither.
One day. One
One day
day.
we'll win.
One day. And hopefully it's the book like I really want to read.
Yeah,
Not a
I
book that
hope
I
that
just
have it.
not a book that I just enter just to enter and hope to
Yeah,
win.
or
Because
we'll go out there and buy it.
I know. And then the book ends up not being worth
Yeah.
entering for.
Mhm.
So since I know you're very big in books,
Mhm.
and the reason I know that is because we've known each other since high school, being a part of Dare to Dream together, which now leads us to being a part of the Dreamin' Owls. And if you guys watch my previous Wiki-Wheelz Talk with Milan, you know he's also a part of Dreamin' Owls. So a little, if you did not watch that video, what are you doing? Go watch that video after you watch this video. And if you, again, but if you didn't watch it, with Dreaming Owls, we are a motivational speaking group that goes around talking about our various disabilities as well as just stuff that we went through and want to help other people go through and just give advice, have fun while doing it. And yeah, what
If you
about you, Jess? Got it.
want to book us, please contact us. I'm sure our links will be at the bottom as well.
Yes, they will be, which I kind of
Um,
forgot to do the last video, so I'm gonna add those.
yeah,
But yeah, check.
our social medias will be down at the bottom of the description. Or if you guys have us on our social media, you guys are always willing to contact us through our social media. Um, and if we're available to help you guys out, we're always willing to help in any way that we can. Even if we
Yes.
can't like talk at the event, we can always be there for support or whatever you guys need for
Yeah, exactly.
guys.
And we're working on other things that are slowly coming together. So one day you guys will see that. Um, but yeah, so keep in touch with us by following us on all of our social medias. We're Dreamin' Owls, DREMIN
Without
Owls.
me.
We don't have a G in there.
No.
So keep an eye out on that. And so we've learned about each other through being a part of the German Owls. So, Jess, would you
Luckily, we've
like
known each
to?
other for so long. Some of us that are in the DreaminOWLs, that a lot of when we made the DreaminOWLs or when we came up with DreaminOWLs, felt like a high school reunion because we've all known each other from high school. I think I've known Caitlin for almost 10 years already, if it hasn't been.
Yeah, because my 10-year reunion is this year. whenever, if ever that happens. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know there's talk about it, or people are trying to talk about it, but I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I
But
think I might have been your junior year when I met you, or your senior year.
I think you were my senior year at DreaminOWLs, but I'm sure we've seen each other in the
Yeah.
hallways and stuff
Yeah.
at DreaminOWLs.
Been a long
Senior year, my DreaminOWLs. I met my senior year of Dare to Dream. Because DreaminOWLs didn't exist yet.
No, they didn't.
Oh my god.
Maybe in our country it did.
Maybe. Or in someone's dream it did.
In someone's. Not mine, that's for sure. Might have been.
Yeah. Might have been mine.
Might have been. I don't know.
I don't know. But it was a good dream to
Yeah.
whoever had, because it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And we're now a tight knit family. We get to joke around with each other and one particular person a little bit more. Hi Mike.
Don't bring up the chair at the library, okay? That's for another time. That's for another time.
That's a whole video. Oh, we should do one at the library.
Oh, we should. We should bring the chair too.
Yeah, that's a whole other video.
That's for another time. Stay tuned.
Just know that chairs are very helpful if you want to let out emotions that you've had for a very long time and you don't want to tell them to that particular
person
or people, because it could be more than one. Talk to a chair. Like these chairs are they may be they may be they're very helpful. And and one particular chair was very helpful that day. We're not crazy. We're just
We've just been through a lot.
But yeah, we have, especially with specific people.
Yeah. You know how it is.
You gotta let it out somehow.
It's Black History Month. I'm celebrating by learning new historical facts. Here's one. I read on Time.com that in the early 1900s, Madam C.J. Walker was not only America's first black female millionaire, but the first self-made female millionaire of any race. She made her fortune selling hair care products.
You're not taking this out.
That's awesome. No, that's gonna be it.
That's my weird thing of Google.
Oh, that was interesting.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, this is what happens when we talk. So, if you're watching, I hope you're enjoying. Oh my god.
Anyways, I didn't even say, "Hey Google." So I have this Google thing in my room that helps me like play music and stuff. And sometimes I'll just say some random thing and it starts talking to me.
I didn't understand.
I don't know. I'm just really happy that it has never played during the night.
Yeah, no, that would give me a heart attack. Ooh. Okay. Anyway, hopefully that doesn't go off again.
Hopefully not.
Hey Google, be quiet.
I think we're good.
Okay. Anyways, so being a part of the DreaminOWLs, we learned a lot about each other. So is there anything that you've spoken about at our multiple events we've been through? Is there anything that you want to talk about here?
Sure. I think at the multiple events that we've already been to, I think the major topic that I've probably spoken to you about in all of them was bullying. Um, so bullying for me has impacted a lot in my life, especially in high school, the 4 years of high school that I've had. Um, well, bullying for me started before high school. I think I've probably been bullied all my life in school. But the 3 years impacted me most was maybe between eighth grade and my sophomore year. Um, but mainly it was my sophomore year, and after that, my high school experience was not healthy. So these two girls that were bullying me, I thought they were my friends. One of them in particular I known since we were in the first grade, and it was like, the nitpicking, um throwing skittles at me, like we were already in the school building, and they threw skittles at me before the first bell rang of the day, before we went into homeroom. um and in the beginning it was like, the school administration, um it was like, let it go kind of thing. um and it's impacting me a lot more, like mentally, than, if it was just like, you're fat or whatever, it would have been one thing. But it's like, I didn't feel safe going to school. My grades were impacted because, I had an IEP. So I was in a resource class most of my life since second grade up to my freshman year. But then sophomore year, I was in fully in a general education class. So I was already fully included in regular classes just with the support of a resource teacher. So, I worked so hard all these years up to my high school, my 4 years of high school, to finally be included with my rest of my peers to, you know, um, like, let's say in grade wise, I'm going to use like grades as an example. I would have been a straight A student in a special education class. I worked hard to be in a regular education class to becoming a C average student. Because these girls were just impacting my life so much that I didn't want to do anything for school. Like I said, I didn't even want to go to school because I didn't feel safe and I wasn't feeling protected because administration didn't want to help me. Um, and it sucks because mentally it hurts, and I got into really severe depression. I even became suicidal. Like, I just felt worthless because I wasn't getting helped, I wasn't getting heard. These girls kept, like, anything I did, these girls would use it against me. And even if it was like a positive thing that I would do, these girls would still, like, go after me like they were like a dog and they wanted to chew me apart kind of thing. So it's bullying, and bullying is out there. And it feels like as we as technology advances,
It
I feel
gets
like there's
worse.
always new ways of bullying people, especially now with cyberbullying. Back when we were growing up and in high school, I mean, there was stuff that we were able to use to cyberbully each other, but I just feel
Yeah, there was that one app,
it was like
that app,
this.
that like anonymous app,
Oh yeah,
that app thing. I think
yeah,
that got canceled because of what was happening.
yeah. And I just feel like now, like kids now these days, they have a more um they're a lot more technically advanced than what we were when we were in high school. And they have access to everything. So it's just like, you know, kids get cruel. Especially, like, I'm not saying that boys don't bully other boys, but like I just feel like girls were like
But
vicious when we start bullying.
yeah,
So it's like, um I don't like I don't promote it. I just do the right, like, my advice on bullying is do the right thing. Um especially like if you're gonna bully somebody else for what they look like, um, I always tell people like, before judging somebody else, judge yourself. Because you're not perfect and neither is the next person. So to make fun of somebody else just because of what they look like or they look different than you or they look different than, the clique
The,
or
yeah,
whatever, um, you don't know what their life is going through. Like, God only knows what their life looks like at home. So it's like maybe their safe space is only going to school and now they're getting bullied at school and it's now school is no longer their safe space. So it's like just look at like, look at yourself in the mirror before you go out there and judge
other
somebody
people.
else. Um and if you wouldn't like for somebody to say that to you,
Then
don't
why are you saying it to
right,
somebody else?
right. Um yeah, so like don't say like if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So it's because God only knows how that like your
Person would
right. So like
take it.
right. So like for you to think something's ugly on somebody else, God only knows how far that person's gonna take it. So yeah, you know, be nice because everybody has a um nice version of themselves, even if it's for an interest or not. Um yeah, just be nice to each other because God only knows what that person's going through. That person can be like the nicest person ever. And now you just broke maybe a friendship that you could have had with the person. Um and you know, they always say it's not what you do or what you say, it's how you treat somebody.
Yes.
People will always remember that. So you know, it's like that whole thing of like dogs are nice to everybody until you mistreat them and they'll always remember that.
They
So
will. Well, I'm sorry, I'm only sorry that you went through that. Was there anybody that you went to that helped you through that? Like, was
yeah,
there that one person,
there was one particular person in high school that I used to always go to. He was a security guard at the high school. His name was
Mr.
Johnny.
Rude? Mr.
Yeah.
Rude.
Um, that's for another video as well.
Love you, Johnny.
So yeah, Johnny was a security guard at the time at the high school. I think now he's at Burnett if they haven't changed him again. Um, so if you guys never met him, he's a really, 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 really tall security guard.
Super tall.
He's
Like,
like 7
really,
feet tall. Um,
but he's awesome.
yeah, he's really nice and he's one of those gentle giants. Um, so he helped me a lot. He protected me probably more than anybody else in high school. And he advocated for me, especially for the help that I needed. Um, and even if I needed, to be escorted or because I didn't feel comfortable, even to go simply to the bathroom, um, he would always help me out. Um, and he was there for me when things were really bad and when things got better. And he always, for the rest of high school, if anybody ever messes with you, let me know so I can always, help you out. So yeah. And all the other security guards were also great. Um, you know, to protect everybody and everything. So, but Johnny, he did a great job. I appreciate you, buddy.
Even though you were rude that one day.
I know, because he was busy chit chatting.
Yeah, and neither one of them turned around.
Yeah, neither one of them turned around.
Well, yeah, we're looking at you too, mister. It
Tony.
wasn't just Johnny.
You too, Tony.
Yeah, both of you ignored us. Even though you claim you said hi. I'm like, no. Tony, you ignored us too. But we love you guys.
Yeah,
We
we
do.
appreciate you
We
guys.
love you guys. Love all of you security guys.
Yeah.
'Cause you guys were cool. You were easy to mess with too.
Yeah. You guys never took anything serious.
No,
Even till this day.
not even the ones at Burnett.
I don't know. I never met the ones at Burnett.
Well, you met one of them because he went to the high school. Mr. Fraser.
Oh yeah, Mr.
Hi,
Fraser.
Mr. Fraser.
Hi.
I always could mess with
Hi, Mrs.
you.
Fraser.
I could always mess with you, Mr. Fraser. You're probably thinking, what does she ever do? Like, you know, you know. And you mess with me enough too. So don't be rolling your eyes that I know you're doing. It was an equal thing.
I don't even remember who the security guards at Kiwami was. Oh, it was Mr. That guy that became a firefighter. Your friend over there.
Yeah.
That's for another video as well.
No mentioning that name. That is another whole video. Yeah. And I'm not afraid to say it either. No, because everybody knows how I feel about that person. He doesn't, but everyone else does. Sorry. No, I'm not.
It's for
But
another.
yeah, that's a story for a whole other time. I'm gonna actually do that. Hey, it's time for me to, speak out about that and not let that happen to other people.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
Yeah.
you should do a video of your assistance throughout
I should.
your education.
And then maybe in that particular year, I should talk to my teacher who felt the same way about him. Because
Mhm.
I still see them from time to time. So I'd be like, hey, remember that guy?
You should probably have him as a guest.
Would you like to talk about him for a video with me? But yeah, that's a story for another time. So watch out for that video, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, is there anything else that you would like to talk about today?
I don't know. Hmm. Is there anything that you think I should be talking about?
Well, talked about books.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what got you into reading books? There we go.
Gotcha. That's a good question. Um. So with so I always liked reading, but I feel like when I was going through the whole situation of bullying, my only escape was to go hide behind a book. Um, so I feel like I got connected into more reading when I was in the whole in the process of getting bullied, even the aftermath of being like depressed and developing anxiety of going to school and stuff like that. So if you I don't know if you really remember Caitlin, but I always had a book in my hand or even in my book bag. Um, so I always had something to read.
So you were like the Rory Gilmore
Yeah.
that always had a book in her hand.
Hmm.
And she would always have like 10 books in her
Yeah.
bag.
Like even though in college I probably read less in college, which
So did I.
probably should have been the opposite. But I just never had the time because I was always either studying or working or I just never had the time for it. Um, but in grad school was really hard on me too mentally. Um, so it's because I was also going to school, going to work, and going through other personal stuff. Um, that it drove me back to always having a book in my hand just in case I mentally wasn't okay, that I just needed to escape into a world of maybe possibly wasn't real or whatever. because obviously, hold on. Obviously, this world isn't real, right? So,
Hey, did you know? Did you see that one day, like 3 or 4 months ago, someone put a balloon in one of the drains
oh my
on
God, there was
on
one.
on our main street by us.
Are you serious?
On the way home, my mom was driving, and I was like, "Wait, there's a red balloon there."
There was
And she-
one here. Remember Stephen Gabisky? I'm sorry if you ever watched this, Stephen. I totally like botched your last name. I'm so sorry. I really I'm
I
so
might.
there was one year he went around on mischief night and put red balloons on drains.
Like I never
So
watched
sorry.
it.
I'm so sorry, Stephen, that I totally botched your last name. But she knows what I'm talking about.
I totally threw you under the bus here. Uh, but like I never watched it like or read it because that's not my type of thing.
Mhm.
But like I knew about the red balloon thing, and when we were driving home that night, I was like, "Wait a minute, there's a red balloon
Yeah.
in that dream, and it's on that main
On
on the
South.
main yeah."
I didn't see
I
nothing.
was like, "Oh goodness."
I watched the original movie, like the one that they made in like the 80s or something. But then I was like, But then they remade the movies. And I was like, oh, I should read the book to like refresh my memory. And then just watch the remakes of it.
I didn't watch it, but one of my friends watched it,
Mhm.
and I had to be on like back when it was Google Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was on or maybe Skype, one of those.
Yeah.
I actually had to be on one of those with him while he was watching it because he hates clowns and and he needed someone to be there with him
Yeah.
while he was watching it.
I def-
Sorry,
don't rec-
sorry to watching this, but yeah,
I
you know.
definitely don't recommend watching or reading this book if you're afraid of clowns. Or spiders.
No,
Um,
he did.
yeah. Don't watch it if you're afraid of clowns or spiders, and don't read it either.
Yeah, so my cousin should definitely not watch it then or read it
No.
because she is she's afraid of clowns and bugs, spiders, anything. So don't watch it.
Hold on one second. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah. All right.
We're gonna
Is
do the
that everything for at least this one? Because I'm sure we'll have plenty of more to talk about, and I can have you on Wiki-Wheelz Talk again anytime, any place, anywhere.
Okay.
But before I let you go, if anyone watched the last video, if not, why are you not watching it? But if you watched the last video, you know about the cards. This is called the closer. Where I'm gonna mix these cards up. Hopefully, I don't drop them like I almost did the last video. I'm gonna shuffle them. Well,
That's okay.
there goes 2 or 3 of them.
Stop
Oh,
shuffling.
wow, she already told me to stop. Okay. So I'm gonna have the guests tell me to stop, and then I'm gonna ask them if they want the top card or the bottom card.
I'll
So
take the
Jess, you want the bottom card?
bottom card.
Bottom card. Oh, cool. All right. Oh, for a reader like this, it's gonna be a good one. All right. So some cards have 5 questions all the way up to 10. This one has 5 questions.
Okay.
So Milan had 7 questions. So you got the easier. Or it could be harder to answer. You don't know. So here we go. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, favorite singer or band?
The Backstreet Boys.
Woo. Who's your favorite Backstreet Boy?
Nick.
Mine was like
Sorry.
Brian, Nick, and oh
Come
hi Milan. Mm, um mine was always Brian, Nick, and Kevin.
Kevin was pretty cool too.
But when I was younger, it was always in sync. So anytime I mentioned the Backstreet Boys, my sister like hit me. Not literally, but she'd be like, "But I found out she had a Backstreet Boys CD." So yeah, Kristen, I found out. 10 years later, I found out you had a Backstreet Boys CD all along. Anyways, favorite toy growing up?
I'll show you.
Ooh, I still have mine. I have all my toys still.
It's not a toy, but it's my Pooh Bear.
Oh,
I
Pooh
still
Bear.
sleep with it.
I love Pooh Bear.
I love it too.
All right, for my reader. Are you ready? I'm actually glad you got this card. Ebook or physical books?
Normally, it would be a physical book. But right now, I'm in the middle of a phase that I'm leaning towards of an ebook. Right now with Audible, I'm able to have a physical book in my hand, but also listening to it. It allows me to get into the book a little bit easier than just reading it off the book.
I'm pro physical.
Yeah, I usually like to have a book in my hand, but with like me traveling always back and forth to work and from work, an audio book or an ebook would be a little bit more convenient.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Yes. All right, last question. If you could have dinner with anyone from history, who would it be?
Mm,
Dun,
mm,
dun, dun.
mm,
I know, tough question.
mm. I don't want to go to like the explorers that came to America because I have a lot of things to say about that. Um, or definitely go to like either like Nelson Mandela or Gandhi or something, to give me motivation.
That's good. Yeah, I would say Shakespeare.
That's a good one.
I always could count on Shakespeare. To be like, what goes through your head?
Yeah.
Well, Jess, you finished all 5 questions. So
Hi.
so you got through and that was card number 3. Because I'm gonna keep track of how many times each card has been answered. So I got 1 and 3 now. So we'll see if any of them get repeated anytime soon. So Jess, thank you for being on Wiki-Wheelz Talk.
Thank you for having me, Caitlin.
So everyone at home, make sure you check out all of her social media accounts. All the links are below, including the DreaminOWLs and mine. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to see more. All right, guys, have a nice day.
And be safe out there. Wear your masks. Wash your hands.
And Texas, we're there with you.
You're definitely in our prayers.
I know it's crazy right now with all the snow and freezing. So stay safe, stay warm. We're here.
Alrighty. See you
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Bye. Stay tuned.